Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport today. And by Energy Sage. Time's running out in the US to get the benefit of federal tax incentives, so plan your energy independence today. And by you. Stick around to find out how you can help us remain 100% independent by joining us on Patreon this autumn. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. We are back to a more conventional delivery this week, and I really appreciate you sticking it out last week to uncover the real reason the show felt, well, a bit boring. Just remember, that's what a future without a free press looks like, so don't let it happen. We start today with Volvo's official announcement that its EX90 full-size SUV is getting its 800-volt battery upgrade for the 2026 model year. Sharing the same platform as the just-launched ES90, which has only been made in 800-volt guise, the EX90 now migrates to the higher voltage setup, offering far quicker recharge times at compatible charging stations. It also offers a raft of improvements to its oft-criticised onboard computer system, with a new dual NVIDIA Drive AGX Orin-based computer at its heart. Interestingly, unlike many automakers who don't offer owners of older cars the option to upgrade, Volvo will offer owners of 2025 model year EX90s the chance to upgrade their car's onboard computer system, enhancing AI and autonomous capabilities for free at a pre-arranged dealer visit. Alas, that upgrade is only for the computer system, not the battery pack, nor the all-new photochromic sunroof. This week has seen not one but two bits of good news for EV companies that have hit hard times this year, Northvolt and Lilium. On Wednesday, administrators in charge of insolvency proceedings at battery company Northvolt gave official approval for Lyten to take over a sizable portion of the firm. While some of Northvolt's assets have already been dispersed to other buyers, Lyten is acquiring the remaining assets, with the deal expected to close by the end of October. Meanwhile, the ambitious Air Mobility Group has signed a new trust agreement with the administrator for insolvent eVTOL company Lilium. AAMG has received the draft purchase deal for Lilium's assets, but according to its CEO, Robert Camp, the deal is far from closing as further legal compliance procedures are required before it can all be finalised. Watch this space. From good news to bad, we now turn to two stories detailing a move away from EVs across the auto industry. At the tail end of the week, reporting from Germany confirmed that Mercedes-Benz has officially cancelled plans to continue producing the EQB, telling dealerships it will honour existing orders but will not take any more. At the same time, Acura, citing tough conversations with General Motors, has decided to pull the plug on its ZDX SUV, a car we frankly found pretty uninspiring when we drove it earlier this year. While Acura says it does plan to build a new EV model soon, it's also worth noting that Honda is currently slashing up to $20,000 of the outgoing model year Prologue until the end of September, presumably to secure deals before federal tax incentives end. Given that the Prologue has sold strongly, we can hope it continues to be available for the foreseeable future, even though the Acura won't be. Watch this space. Sadly, the bad news continues, with Stellantis confirming this week that it's pausing production at 6 European facilities for periods ranging from a few days to several weeks. While not all of the plants produce EVs, many all-electric models are affected, including the DS3 and Opel Mokka EVs, as well as the Peugeot E208 and Opel Corsa Electric, as well as the all-electric Jeep Avenger, Fiat 600 and Alfa Romeo Junior models. Stellantis is blaming difficult market conditions for the pause, saying it's necessary to balance inventories. At the same time, its US brand Jeep is quietly killing plans for more electric and plug-in hybrid models. This week, it quietly axed a promised plug-in hybrid version of its Gladiator pickup, the Gladiator 4xe. But it's not all bad news, because this week we learned that Lucid is ramping up production of its Gravity SUV at its Casa Grande facility in Arizona. Having just debuted its first SUV in Europe at IAA earlier this month, Lucid reports strong demand for the model across all markets. In the US, demand is so high that the company plans to continue offering a $7,500 incentive to customers in lieu of the outgoing federal tax credit, which, as most viewers will know, ends next week. Lucid also confirmed that following its European Gravity debut, it's expanding its dealer network in Germany, welcoming third-party dealerships to its official sales and service network. It's targeting 12 to 15 new locations in addition to its existing company-owned facilities. It's been nearly a month since US ICE agents stormed Hyundai's Meta plant complex in Georgia, arresting hundreds of South Korean employees who were legally in the US, providing guidance and training to help Hyundai's new on-site battery facility reach production. That incident caused international outcry, made the US administration look even more like Nazis, and led to the South Korean government sending a charter plane to repatriate its citizens. Hyundai has said the raid has drastically slowed its production plans, and there have been rumours that while the plant's future is officially secure, Hyundai is less eager to invest further. This week, we learned that Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is worried about the facility's future and thus will travel to South Korea next month to make the case that Georgia remains a strong place for investment. More on this story as it develops. We've long been fans of vehicle-to-grid technology here at TE, and as many of you know, I have a V2G system attached to my house, a setup that's kept us running through multiple power cuts. But don't take my word for it. New data from a year-long trial program in Exmouth, Western Australia, shows that V2G capabilities can dramatically enhance the electrical grid. A state-owned power distributor, Horizon Power, said its test program in a town of just 3,000 people showed that a fleet of V2G-equipped Nissan Leafs not only help stabilise the rural town, but also help save money too. Unlike many other trials, which are massive, this one showed that even a small number of vehicle-to-grid equipped EVs can really make a difference. It's no surprise then that fellow Australian electricity generator AGL has announced its own V2G trial for next year, partnering with Hyundai, Kia, BYD and Zeekr, making the program far more brand agnostic than previous trials. More V2G equals a better grid for everyone. We've seen several new startups in the EV world break cover this year, including Telo, the company that wants to bring back the small, practical pickup truck in an all-electric form. I haven't had a chance to see the Telo MT1 up close and personal, but the compact truck, no larger than a current Mini, yet packing seating for 5 and a bed that can accommodate full-size sheet goods better than some full-size pickups, is really making waves. It's just completed its A-Series funding round, bringing in $20 million. And as with all A-Series rounds, the names attached tell you a lot about the company's prospects. For Telo, it speaks volumes. Industrial designer Yves Behar, co-founder of Telo, and Marc Tarpenning were among the high-profile investors alongside more standard institutional ones. Tarpenning, one of Tesla's 3 original co-founders alongside Martin Eberhard and Ian Wright, clearly knows his stuff. And no, Elon Musk was not a Tesla co-founder, no matter what those fanboys say. A few weeks back, I shared the frustrating news that US President Trump had forced a near-complete offshore wind farm project, the 704-megawatt Revolution wind farm off the northeast coast, to halt construction, citing security concerns. At the time, we noted that the stoppage seemed more about the president's well-documented disdain for wind farms than actual national security, and we also said that grid operators in Rhode Island and Connecticut warned that cancelling the project would cause grid instability. This week, a Reagan-appointed senior US district judge, Royce C. Lamberth, granted a preliminary injunction against the federal government's order, calling it, quote, the height of arbitrary and capricious government conduct. He noted that irreparable harm would come to the plaintiffs if construction didn't resume, and ruled that the project can continue. Expect more legal wrangling and, of course, more authoritarian theatrics from the White House. Despite the White House's attempts to halt future wind and solar generation in the US, newly analysed EIA data shows that President Trump hasn't succeeded. In July, utility-scale solar projects, those larger than 1 megawatt, surged by 36.9% compared to the previous July, while domestic solar PV capacity rose by 12.7%. During the first 7 months of the year, solar supplied 8.9% of US electrical generation, up from 7% the year before. Wind generation also rose by 3.5%, contributing 10.8% of electricity generation. Overall, renewables now account for more than 1/4 of US generation, outpacing both coal and nuclear. It's no surprise generators are voting with their wallets, not towing a ruinous, uneconomic policy touted by an out-of-touch government. And if you're in the US and you would like to help the solar mix continue to soar while saving money on your electricity bills, you should probably talk to today's video sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage connects you with local verified solar installers across the United States and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help guide you through the process of installing solar panels or getting a heat pump installed. Not a homeowner? No worries. Energy Sage can still help you green your electricity by helping you join a community solar program. We used Energy Sage ourselves when looking for installers willing to put solar panels on our roof, and their verified pros were knowledgeable and even introduced us to a great credit union that allowed us to finance the project with low monthly payments. As I've been saying for months now, incentives for solar, including savings of as much as 30% through the federal tax credit program, will disappear in less than 3 months. Unfortunately, solar projects take time, so if you want to lock in these important savings, you need to act now because you don't have time to dawdle. Follow the links below to sign up for Energy Sage's free, no-obligation service and get started today. And if you choose an Energy Sage installer, we will also receive a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us too. Help the grid get greener, save money, gain energy independence, and support the show? It's a win-win-win-win. We're off to recall reminders now, and as a reminder, full details on our website are available if these affect you. Polestar has recalled nearly 28,000 Polestar 2 EVs after a fault could cause the rearview camera to fail to display. A dealer-installed software update is planned shortly. Orange EV is recalling some of its electric terminal trucks to address a fault that could lead to the hazard warning lights failing to operate if the vehicle is switched off. A new wiring harness will be installed under warranty. Hyundai is recalling over 31,000 IONIQ 6 EVs in the US to address a fault that could lead to the charge port door separating from the vehicle. Owners will be notified. Hyundai is also recalling just 8 IONIQ 5 EVs after it was noticed that some rear suspension alignment adjustment bolts may have been improperly tightened at the factory. Replacement parts and tyres will be fitted. Daimler Trucks North America is recalling a slew of vehicles, including its all-electric Jouley school buses and e-Cascadia models, to address incorrectly installed tie rod castle nuts and cotter pins, which could lead to a loss of vehicle control. General Motors is recalling just under 1,200 Silverado EV and Sierra EV models to address a fault with the electronic stability control system. An OTA update or dealer-installed update are being offered. Zero Motorcycles is recalling some of its motorcycles made between 2023 and 2024 to address improperly routed key signal switch wires. It's developed an OTA update to address the fault, which can lead to broken wires. And that's it for your recall reminders. Now it's time for our news shorts. As usual, you'll find links to the covered stories on our website at www.transportevolved.com. A Second Life battery project from Stellantis is putting EV packs to work in other mobility platforms. This week, it unveiled a collaboration with Italian firm Afandor, resulting in the Afandor 1 quadricycle. Panasonic says it's working on a new type of high-capacity battery that it aims to commercialise in about 2 years' time. The new cell is anode-free, allowing it to increase potential energy density. FreeWire, a company that specialised in battery-connected DC fast chargers, went bankrupt last year, but now its idea is back, courtesy of Orange EV Trucks. That company just unveiled its Orange Juice EV fast charger, complete with onboard battery pack. My home county of Norfolk, UK, has just announced a £13.8 million investment to bring 24 new double-decker buses to Great Yarmouth and Norwich by next autumn. Porsche has confirmed a change of plans for its new SUV placed above the Cayenne. Rather than going fully electric as originally intended, it will now only be offered as a combustion engine and plug-in hybrid. In a similar vein, BMW confirmed this week that its upcoming X5 will be offered in ICE, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, hydrogen fuel cell and battery electric versions, indicating a shift away from its EV-only goals. Stellantis, in collaboration with Saft, announced it will be testing a prototype battery pack featuring an intelligent battery integrated system with an inverter and charger integrated into the battery pack. DAF Trucks has announced it is now officially producing the DAF XD and XF electric models. They feature a range of battery pack and drivetrain options covering mid- and long-range applications. As the Turkish president visited the White House this week, his government announced new tariffs on car imports starting in November, with EVs facing significantly higher tariffs than internal combustion models. Wrightbus in the UK has unveiled its first repowered truck, a 19-tonne twin-axle DAF converted to fully electric. Wrightbus is among several companies now offering this kind of conversion service. While the Jeep Avenger Electric doesn't meet the UK government grant criteria for EVs, Jeep has temporarily offered a matching discount for eligible purchases through until the end of this month. The German Federal Network Agency has drafted new rules to put vehicle-to-grid installations on par with grid-tied stationary battery storage, allowing EV owners to feed power back to the grid more easily. Interoperable charging solution company Hubject has entered into a strategic collaboration with Blink to integrate Blink charging stations into Hubject's interchange e-roaming platform across the entirety of North America. Tesla is under investigation by the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration over retractable door handles on some cars, which can fail after a crash and pose a danger to occupants. NHTSA is also investigating the Rivian delivery van after reports that the outboard seatbelt anchorage system can fray or unravel, leaving drivers without proper restraints in the event of a collision. Chinese market subsidiary of Audi, AUDI, is celebrating after its newest vehicle, the high-powered AUDI E5 Quattro Wagon, recorded 10,000 orders in the first 30 minutes of online sales. BAIC's ArcFox brand has announced a new affordable compact EV, the T1. It's offered with a choice of 2 motors and 2 battery packs and will go on sale in China starting at under 63,000 yuan, which is around $8,000 equivalent. Bentley has officially turned its back on its promise to go all-electric by 2030. Instead, it says it will no longer phase out ICE and carry on making suck, squeeze, bang, blow for years to come. WeRide, in collaboration with Grab AIR in Singapore, is launching a new autonomous robotaxi service in the nation. The Robobus will begin service shortly with a fleet of 11 robotic buses. German newspaper Manager Magazine reports that the Volkswagen-Rivian partnership on software-defined vehicles has hit tough times, with Volkswagen's shift in EV strategy thought to blame. Inland Terminals Group, Zero Emission Services and Ned Cargo are launching an emissions-free container transport system on the Netherlands' inland waterways, powered by exchangeable battery containers. Moonpower, a subsidiary of Porsche, has launched a new product called ReLife. It's a modular energy storage solution based on Second Life MEB vehicle batteries. It will enter series production soon. Illinois Governor Pritzker has announced the resumption of funding for new EV charging projects across the state. The latest round, $18.4 million, comes from resumed federal funding. BP Pulse, in collaboration with Moto motorway service stations, has unveiled the first of a new series of truck charging stations compatible with the MCS standard along major UK motorways. More are planned. New reporting from China suggests the government is doubling down on its goals of expanding EV exports worldwide. The newly announced measures aim to boost both export and domestic EV sales. ACEA data just published shows nearly 121,000 EVs were registered in Europe in August, almost a third more than the same period last year. Most brands saw growth, but Tesla saw a significant drop. Austrian phone company A1 has teamed up with Renault to test out a new vehicle-to-load power solution to keep mobile phone masts on and powered during bad weather. MAN Truck and Bus has partnered with the Azerbaijani government to develop local infrastructure, support electric bus deployment, and produce electric buses and trucks in the region. Posco, in collaboration with ReElement Technologies, plans a new US production facility that will turn rare earth raw materials into fully finished permanent magnets for the EV industry, all under one roof. If you're an EV-loving Canadian who frequents Timmy's, you'll soon be able to top up your vehicle alongside your coffee and Timbits. The chain has partnered with Flow to open 100 fast chargers across Canada by the end of 2028. Mercedes-Benz has officially opened order books for its CLA sedan in China. The car is produced in a longer wheelbase variant for the market and will be available in 2 different trim variants. First Bus has ordered 17 new next-generation all-electric buses for use in Bath, England. The single-decker buses will be used in Bath city centre, with further all-electric models planned for the future. A rideshare service in Nigeria, backed by the state of Lagos, has expanded its EV fleet by 100 cars, aiming to capture 70% of the Lagos EV hailing market there. Stellantis-owned Peugeot is rolling out updates to its EV lineup, with the new model year E3008 and E5008 featuring battery preconditioning and vehicle-to-load as standard, alongside improved battery packs. Bosch is cutting 13,000 jobs across its mobility division. The firings hit its EV parts operation hard, with the company citing tough Chinese competition for the primary reason for layoffs. Volkswagen has officially joined the Task 53 programme run by the International Energy Agency. It's aimed at improving an interoperability between different vehicle-to-grid systems and grid operators. Neptune Energy in Germany says there are at least 43 million tonnes of lithium carbonate equivalent in Germany's Altmark region, which could become a hub for European lithium production. Mercedes-Benz and Chinese AI specialist Momenta delivered a new driver assistance system for the Chinese market CLA this week, which is due to debut with the vehicle next month. It's built with Chinese traffic patterns in mind. Volvo Buses has unveiled the BZR electric coach chassis with up to 720 kilowatt-hours of onboard battery capacity and a range of up to 700 kilometres, 435 miles per charge. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Before we get to our final 2 stories, I want to take a moment to talk directly to you. For 15 years, Transport Evolved has brought you independent news about cleaner, greener, safer, smarter and more equitable transportation and energy. 10 of those years have been here in the US, and through it all, we've stayed true to our mission, covering stories that matter, even when bigger outlets pass them by. But the truth is that we can't do it without you. We're not backed by corporations or big production budgets. We are, in fact, a tiny team. There are just 3 full-time and 1 part-time staff member, working hard to bring you content every single week. And like so many other creators in today's climate, we're feeling the squeeze. Costs keep rising and YouTube ad revenue keeps falling. Which is why every single Patreon pledge makes a massive difference in helping keep this show alive. which is why, during the months of September and October, we're holding a special pledge drive. By joining us on Patreon for as little as $1.50 a month, you're not only going to help keep Transport Evolved going, but become part of the community that sustains independent journalism. Keep an eye out in the next few weeks as we share feedback from some of the amazing people who make this channel possible, like Mix Minjava Varags, who says they support the channel because of its queer inclusive lens, which makes them feel represented and seen. They want to see TE not only surviving, but thriving. If you've been thinking about joining the several thousand amazing folks already supporting us, now is the perfect time to act. Your support keeps Transport Evolved alive and independent. And thank you if you are for being part of this amazing journey. And if you are already a Patreon supporter who'd like to be featured in this segment, don't forget that we are only halfway through our autumn drive, so there's still time to fill out that form and be here on a future show. And now it's time for those last two stories. I regularly joke on this channel about being a triple citizen and being ashamed of two of those three countries I hold citizenship of. This week that feeling hit harder thanks to the US president. When he wasn't lecturing the United Nations on a broken teleprompter or an escalator his team caused to stop, he told world leaders that climate change is a hoax, renewable energy is a scam, and that trash in Asia somehow reaches the US West Coast in 2 weeks via the ocean. And to make matters worse, the White House kicked off a nationwide freeze this week on all funding for pedestrian and bicycle-friendly programmes, light rail, cycle paths, footpaths and regional rail projects. All of the funding for that will now be redirected to car-focused initiatives. Seriously, if you are a willing, able US citizen, please consider running against this nonsense next year. And finally, the fastest willy in the world. Enter the BYD Yangwang U9 Xtreme. That's Xtreme with an X, packing a 2.2 megawatt drivetrain. We've seen it make waves on the Nürburgring in Germany, and this week it hit the APT test track in Papenburg, Germany, reaching a top speed of 496.22 kilometers per hour. That's 380.4 miles per hour. At that speed, you could travel from London to Edinburgh in just over an hour, or from New York to Washington, D.C. in about 45 minutes. The record strips the previous title holder, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport, of its crown. So hats off to the team at BYD and to German race driver Marc Tarpenning for setting the record. And yes, the name Yangwang will raise a few eyebrows outside of China. Let's just say you shouldn't ask a Brit if they've heard about Yang's Wang. And on that slightly suggestive note, I think you should all blame my alter ego, Miss Dearheart, and her vaudeville tendencies. We are, in fact, done for today. But first, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. The EVA has been advocating for EVs since 1967 and remains firmly committed to a cleaner, greener future for everyone. Join the EVA today to find out how to become an EV educator, how to meet like-minded fans, and get help to make your own transition to electric. Help that also includes a low-interest loan programme to help finance that next step. You can find out more at myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to plan your own energy-independent future before those tax credits vanish. And thanks to you. If you can, please consider supporting us from just $1.50 a month on Patreon. If just 400 of our 152,000-ish subscribers who have yet signed up on Patreon did so and committed to giving the equivalent of a fancy coffee every month, we would be in a much better financial position. And don't forget, if you join Patreon this autumn, you'll get special exclusive access to a new piece of digital art by the lovely Erin, which features the entire TE team. We publish every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday on this channel, and every Sunday we drop 2 videos on Transport Evolved Take 2, which is more informal, behind-the-scenes stuff. And in closing, some really important words. You are valid, you are loved, and you belong. I know that this week has been tough, and I know it's been tough for many of you and will continue to be tough into the future. Eroding rights, authoritarian creep, and leaders failing to lead have all led to real consequences, from attempts to strip people of their citizenship, to labelling anti-fascist or progressive acts as terrorism, to calls for the incarceration or institutionalisation of trans people. It is a lot. It is scary. And it may be keeping some of you awake at night. Right now, division and hate aren't tolerated. They're encouraged by those in power, driven by cruelty. So in times like these, kindness and empathy aren't just virtuous things, they're acts of radical resistance. Empathy is not a weakness, it's a skill we must nurture and practice to hold on to our shared humanity. And in that line, remember, it is okay to take time for yourself, to unplug, to get outside, to dive into a good book or an album, or just spend time with ones who are special to you. Care for yourself now so that you can come back ready to fight for decency, community, and justice. Do not let the you-know-whats win. Embrace your awesomeness and let your light shine. As a reminder, we have turned off YouTube comments due to death threats and doxing attempts in recent weeks. It's just not safe for our community to exist there. So comments are now only open on Mastodon, Blue Sky, our website, or Discord, where moderation is much easier. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom to threaten and make other people's lives difficult. So wherever you are, whoever you are, whoever you love, you're not alone. Be an ally, be kind, be that positive change you want to see in the world. Do not let hate or ignorance win. As always, keep evolving.